Happy Wednesday. This morning, I thought I would take you along and share how we are teaching the numbers 1 through 10. Our first math unit of the year is always a review from last year. So our first unit is going to be a little bit longer than a week, and we are teaching students, we're reviewing those numbers 1 through 10, what they look like, how to count on, how to count back, the number words, counting sets, and also comparing numbers within 10. So I thought I'd kind of take you along with some of the lessons that we're teaching. We've already taught some of them and some we have coming up. So just kind of walk you through about 5 days of lessons to teach those skills. So if you are also reviewing these numbers or you have students who need to review these numbers, you can follow along. All right, so before we dive into these 5 main lessons, I do want to point out that last week we kind of touched upon a little bit of number formation. I talked about it in last week's video, but we used these slides right here where we would just talk about what the numbers look like. We gave a little saying to help students remember what way the numbers go. Those are just free off TBT that we got, and I just inserted them into my slides. And then I had students actually make the numbers on their whiteboards, and they also made them with Play-Doh. Here's some pictures of that. And then the other thing I did is I introduced our Rec and Recs. I also shared about this in last week's video, but I would show a number up on the screen. It kind of looked like this right here. Students would have to make that same number, and we did this all within 10 first. So they had to make that same number on their Rec and Rec. I showed them how it's done. We move all the beads to the right, and then the ones that are on the left are the ones we're kind of counting. So we're counting them left to right, just like we read. And then they had to match it. And then on the count of 3, we would all say, okay, what number is being shown? 1, 2, 3. And then the little box up top would kind of disappear and display the number. So we'd see if we got it correct. So we had done that last week, and now we are diving into our real unit with Math in Focus, and they got their workbooks. So let me show you some of the lessons we did this week. First, you always know we start with a math talk. At the beginning of the year, I like to do my subitizing ones. So we kind of practice what this routine looks like. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to look at the dots, and then I cover it up. So I just insert a little box on Google Slides, and that way it covers it up. And then they have to tell me what they saw, how did they see it, and then we can actually check it. So I do 3 of these, and then this is just from the Math in Focus workbook. They have little Google Slides. I take some of the information and put it over into mine. Count to find the numbers to fill in the blanks. So we practice counting up, we practice counting back, and then it says talk about how you count with your partner. At the beginning of each of these lessons, we are practicing counting just to see how high we can go. I introduced the circle counting game Buzz last week, and we had done that once already. This time what I like to do is I actually just have students get in a pair and have them spread out around the room. I think I shared this last year, and they just practice counting as high as they can go. We do a whisper counting, 1, and the other person says 2, 3, 4, and they just see how high they can go within a certain amount of time, which I usually give them a minute or 2. And I just kind of walk around and see who might be having trouble. Obviously in first grade, some of that trouble comes with after 39, what's that next kind of multiple of 10? That's where the trickiness comes in. But so far so good with this class. They have got the counting down, and they're able to count pretty high right now. So that's something we'll continue throughout the week. So we'll just do a little quick practice counting after we do our warm up. And this is also from the book, but what I did is we have our little 10 frame mats that I'll show you in a second. And all we did is we had students sit across from each other in their pairs, which they already do. And anybody that was in the middle without a pair kind of went to the back. And they just had to, one partner had to close their eyes. The other partner would put some cubes on the 10 frame, and then they would say when they're ready, and the other person had to open up their eyes and say how many they saw. So just some quick practice of identifying numbers within 10 on a 10 frame. And then I had them use those same cubes, and I gave them a cup, and we played how many are under the cup. So just to show you real quick, we have these 10 frames. They are double-sided, so they also have part hole, and then they are dry erase, so you can actually write on them. But all students would do is one close their eyes, and I told them they didn't have to put it in any particular order. I wanted them to start being able to just identify kind of like a subitizing quick image. I wanted them to be able to see that there's 4 here, whether it's 4 like this, 4 like this, however they wanted to do it. They just had to have at least 1 cube in, or they had to have 1 cube inside the boxes. They couldn't just be all spread around. And then after we did that, they did the same game, but with the cup. So for this, we practice students counting on. So we know there's 10. We talked about that, how there are 10 cubes here. And then everybody knows this game. Some people call it bats in a cave. There's all different ways we can call it, but we know there's 5 here. So we're gonna count on until we get to 10 to identify how many are under the cup. So just some quick counting practice. with manipulatives and seeing those numbers on 10 frames. After they did that, they just went into their workbook. These are literally pages from their big workbook where they are just counting sets and writing down the number. And then they are also matching the number to the number word, which is something we worked on a little bit more the next day. So that was day one. If we go to day two, we again are going to start with some quick images. I also showed them in 5 frames today so they could see what that would look like. And then we practiced counting on first. So we said how many are here. We counted on all the leaves until we got to 10. We practiced counting back. I again sent students off and they practiced their counting. And then I showed students the number posters. These are the exact ones that I'm going to tape right up there. Actually, tomorrow it'll already be up, but I'm going to do that today. So we talked about each one. We see the number one, what it looks like in a 10 frame, and then also that number word. And we did that with each of them. Today was our review for those number words, kind of what they look like and identifying them. And then I had students play match and make. So I had students get into a group and I had 2 groups of this, and then I also had another group playing Find the Fish, which I'll show you in a second. But all students had to do was match up, just like they're doing here. They had to match up the number and the number word first. And then I had my students actually put them in order. I'll share a picture here on the screen for you. But I had them put the numbers in order from 1 to 10. And then they had to make that number with some type of manipulative. So some groups had pattern blocks, some had cubes, and they did a great job with that. The other group was over here. This was flipped around to the rug, and they were playing Find the Fish, which we've already played as a whole group. You know this game already, but essentially one student will come up, they will hide the fish behind a number, and then they call on students sitting nicely to try and find which number it is. So if they say it's 4, they come flip 4, find that it's not there, and they keep turning it around until they find that fish. And then whoever finds it, that person gets to be the next kind of hider. All groups were really engaged during that one. They love Find the Fish because it's like a competition game. And then the other game, Match and Make, is just very hands-on, and they all had to work together to do it. So all groups were very engaged. Then I actually brought them back to the rug. So we did that hands-on part. Also, I'll say that I kept the number posters up on the smartboard. So that way students could, the people in Match and Make, they could see that number. They could refer to that if they're still having trouble with that number word. Then I pulled everybody back to the rug and we played One More, One Less. Let me show you what that looks like. This is One More, One Less. This is a game from my print and play number sense games. I've had it forever, and this was the 1 dice version. So all we did is we have 1 dice, you have a partner, and you each have your own color crayon. Students simply take turns rolling the die, and then if they land on a 5, let's say, they can choose to color in either a 4 or a 6. Sometimes you can play it if you want them to color in both. They can color in a 4 and a 6 to make this a little faster, but they basically can't color in the 5. They have to determine what comes right before it and what comes after it. And they just continue taking turns, rolling, coloring until the whole board is colored in. But students also really liked this one too. And then I put this in backwards order, but then we also did it for independent practice at the end. They just had to count and write each number for this one, just like yesterday. And then here they had to count all the grasshoppers, and they had to write the number and the number word. So again, just that independent practice for counting, writing numbers, and writing number words. All right, and then let's look at what we are doing today for math. So day 3, we're gonna start talking about comparing. So let me pull up the slides and show you. We, of course, started with some more subitizing ones. After today, I'm gonna move to our comparing number talks, which I will show you in a second. But we talked about matching and comparing. So again, these pictures are from the Math in Focus curriculum, but we said there are 4 children and there are 4 apples. So when we compare them, the number of children and apples are the same. Oops, wrong way. Then there are 4 children and there are 3 apples. There are more children than apples, fewer apples than children. We talked about those words, more and fewer. And then I kind of just made this one on my own and added a little apple here. And then I wanted kids to answer, how many apples do we have now? We have 5. How many kids? 4. And then I had them practice comparing the 2 sets, the children and the apples, using the words more and fewer. So they said there are more apples than kids, or there are fewer kids than apples. And some of my students were even able to point out that there's 1 more apple than there are kids. So if 1 more kid came over, it would be the same. It would be equal. Now for this was also from the book. I didn't actually do this. This was just up here to remind me. But what I did is I passed out a stack of these cubes I passed out 2. I gave them each just 2 different colors. I didn't care how many they had as long as one stack had more and one had fewer. So I just went around, I was like, here, you take these, you take, not that, that's the same, you take these. So everybody got 2 colors. And then while I was passing them out, I allowed them to play with them first, so that way they could get that out of their system. And then I said, okay, now looking at your 2 colors, they turned to a partner and they had to share which one had more and which one had fewer using those words. So I have more blue than green. I have more red than yellow. I have fewer yellow than red, and so on. So everybody did that. I got to walk around and hear them. And then I had them all trade colors with somebody. So at their tables, they could trade them however they needed. And this time, some people had some that were equal. So they could say, oh, I have equal red and blue cubes. I have more yellow cubes than green. So we did that 2 more times so 3 times total. So we had the original pair. We traded once and then we traded again. And they just practiced saying those out loud, which was really hands-on, easy, simple for them to see. I didn't have them put numbers to it just yet. Instead, we just stuck with the colors, like I have more yellow than green. Tomorrow, we'll definitely work on 4 is more than 3, but that would have been an easy extension that I could have done. Then I had everybody come over to the carpet and we played roll, move, and compare. This is what the game looks like. This is actually in my kindergarten print and play games. But students basically had 1 piece here, 1 piece here. They would roll and to move their game piece to wherever they land on the board. Then they would have to compare the numbers. And I also gave them cubes so they could build it as they needed. I did encourage most of them to build it. And then they would just say, if they landed on 9, they landed on 8, they would have to use the words more, less, greater than, fewer than to describe those numbers. And I just walked around as they played. Then, of course, we had our independent practice. So here on this page, they're counting up how many butterflies there are, how many flowers. Then they had to write down using the words more or fewer to be able to compare them. So this page we didn't get to yet because we played a lot of games today and they were doing really well with the game that I wanted to continue. So for this one over here, we're gonna do this tomorrow where we have to fill in the blank. So this is where we're gonna get to those numbers. So we'll actually count how many there are, write them there, and then say the number is greater than. And we'll see them in a few different ways. I like that they have the cubes, they have them in kind of 10 frames, and then they also just have the abstract number. So we're gonna do that for tomorrow. So let me show you the slides we're doing tomorrow. We're actually gonna use my math teaching slides just to kind of walk through this one more time and really have students get a solid grasp of comparing numbers within 10. So tomorrow we will start with our comparing number talks now that we've kind of already introduced it. So I always like to start without numbers first. We just talk about which one can hold more, which one can hold less, getting them used to that vocabulary. And then we'll do a couple of these where we go on and actually count sets. So how many's in this jar, how many's in this jar, I'll write the number up there and we'll talk about which one is more, which one is less. And depending on how well they do, which I think they'll do this pretty easily, I think I might introduce the symbol as well too. So we'll do a few of these. These are my comparison number talks. You can see they get more difficult as the time goes on, and then they go into just abstract numbers, comparing 3 numbers and so on. But we'll definitely start with 2 or 3 tomorrow. Then we're actually going to go into my math teaching slides. These are the comparing number sense ones. So this will just be a quick little math talk too. Are there more blue cubes or red cubes? How do you know? And then we'll talk about how they're kind of scattered and it might be easier to line them up and actually compare them. So we can line them up and write that there's 4 here, there's 7 here. We can see that there's more. We talk again about those words more and less to describe them. And then I will model comparing some groups of cubes. Now I might actually use, I'll show you in there are some like other little math tools. I might use those instead to compare. But I will just model doing it right here on the rug, showing 2 different sets of something, whether it's transportation vehicles or if it's cubes, 2 different color cubes, whatever it is. And I'll compare and model using the words more, less, greater than, and fewer than. Then students are going to get this little sheet here, and they're going to practice this. So they're going to get, might be cubes, it might be down here. I'll show you how I would do this, but they're going to get groups of items and they're going to compare them using the words more and less 3 times. So I'll show you how to do this. I might end up just giving, because these bags are already set, and it's a big bag filled with like little transportation tools. I don't really know, but I might have students just close their eyes, pick a handful, 1, student 2, pick a handful, 2, and then they have to count them up, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and compare them. So say I have 3, she has 6, 6 is more than 3, 3 is more than 6. And then on the recording sheet, they will just write down the two numbers and circle which one is more. Let me show you. This is what the recording sheet looks like. So one person would write 3, one would write 6, and then they circle the group that is more. And then they'll just put it back in the bag and repeat that 3 times. So I probably won't have them spread out all around the room just because it'll be pretty quick. So I'll probably have them just do that right here on the rug. And then lastly, they will go to their independent practice page and they will have to count up the different items. So they'll count how many bears there are, how many cubes, and again, circle the number that is more. And then at the very end, we have a little closing. How do you describe 2 sets of items that have the same amount? So we've been using the words more, less, greater than, and fewer than a lot. I want to just make sure that everybody knows we use the word equal or same when they have the same amount. So those are the first kind of 4 days of lessons that we are doing. Like I said, we started last week with a little bit of that number formation, some rec and rec practice. And then we really did the full like math lessons this week where we have a math talk starting. I model something, I explicitly teach them how to do it. I have them go off and partner practice it, usually with some sort of game, and usually it requires some hands-on practice. And then they come back and do some independent practice. I have loved that this year we have 60 minutes. If you followed me last year, we only had 45, and that 45 minutes was squeezed in between lunch and specials, which if you're a teacher, you know that that transition time was a lot. And so it felt like math was just really cut short last year. So it feels like we're really able to get through all the parts of an effective lesson, which is very helpful. So for Friday, let me just quickly turn you around and show you, we're just gonna introduce math rotations. So let me show you what that will look like. So for math rotations, we're still gonna do a comparison warm-up, and then I'm going to explain to everybody how to use IXL. We have not used it yet this year, so I wanna make sure I show everybody how to go on there, how to find their start assignments, and also how to find the games. And then I'm just gonna have 4 8-minute rotations. So it will be quick. One group will come back to me and we'll be doing some practice work. The other group will be doing an independent worksheet here. This group will be doing some of my math task cards, which they've already started a little. Here's some pictures of them. And then the other group will do IXL. And we'll rotate through 4 times just to get students used to that practice. I like to do math rotations usually about once a week or at least once every unit, but it ends up being close to about once a week, if not once every other week. Just to give students that additional practice. And again, this is my time where I get to check in with my students. So we will be working on just, can they identify those numbers? Can they identify the number words? How are they with counting and comparing and ordering? And then again, same with the independent practice. It'll be something simple. The task cards they'll do over there at the white table. And then everyone will be at their own desk for IXL. And they will go through that 4 times. So that just walked you through exactly how I teach numbers 1 through 10, or rather review it from the year before during those first weeks of first grade. Everything I mentioned in today's video, I will try to link down below. I know that it's like kind of gathered from different places, and some of the slides are obviously from my Math in Focus curriculum, but I still think it's beneficial to show you just because you can see the types of activities that we're doing, what types of hands-on practice, the wording and everything like that. And our team is great, our first grade team. A lot of us are doing the exact same things. We might switch it up slightly, but we're all teaching the same thing kind of at the same time, and we rely on each other heavily for resources and everything, which is great. As always, I do hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel and click that bell. That way you're notified of every new video. See you in the next one. Bye.